Today we have a strange interview. This session is amazing.
Okay, let's unpack this really fascinating concept we've been looking into. It's an analogy, but it feels like so much more.
It really does. It's this framework almost for defining our whole existence, our limits now, and what we need to be doing to prepare for, well, whatever comes next.
Exactly. And it's apparently quite precise, this analogy. It seems to cut across different traditions, too.
Yeah, it's not just a metaphor. It's presented as a kind of proportionate model, like a fixed scale for understanding where we are now compared to, the bigger picture.
So let's start there. The core idea comes from a tradition attributed to the prophet.
That's right.
And it maps out reality by saying the relationship between the unseen world, the next life, sometimes called the Akhirat, and our current world, this temporary one, the Dunya, is exactly like the relationship between this world, everything we see, and the mother's womb, the fetal environment.
And what's striking about that right away is how widely recognized this seems to be. It's not just from one specific school of thought. The research suggests it's foundational, popping up across different theological lines. Sometimes the term Farrakhan is used to refer to these major schools.
So it's got broad backing, suggesting it's more of a universal blueprint.
That's how it feels. Less like a local saying, more like a fundamental way of seeing things. Preparation, mortality, the transition, it covers it all.
And what it does immediately, this analogy, is it kind of puts us in a box. It defines our current reality, the Dunya, as inherently limited.
Right. Like we're operating right now within the womb. That's our known universe.
We need to really sit with that idea for a second, the womb environment.
Let's do that. I mean, think about it. It's described as dark, wet, confined, utterly dependent.
For 9 months, that's everything. That's the entire cosmos for the fetus.
Its whole reality is just the uterine wall, the fluid, maybe the mother's heartbeat.
So for that unborn being, the world outside, sunlight, oceans, mountains, space travel.
It doesn't just seem far away.
It's literally unimaginable, non-existent from its perspective.
Which leads to the really sharp question about knowledge. Can the fetus know it's going to be born? Can it possibly comprehend what's outside?
And the texts are pretty clear on this, aren't they?
Very clear. They emphasize that the fetus has basically no understanding of the external world. It lives in, well, the term used is zulmadimas, absolute darkness.
Absolute darkness. That sounds like more than just no light.
Oh, definitely. It implies a total sensory deficit relative to what's coming next. Think about it. Color, gravity as we feel it, dry air, open space.
None of that exists for the fetus.
Its reality is fluid, confinement, maybe some rhythmic sound. If you tried to describe, say, the color red or flying in an airplane,
it would sound like nonsense.
Yeah, right.
Borivore, maybe, like idle chatter.
Exactly. La tanat is another term, used nonsensical talk. It just wouldn't compute.
Okay, so here's the pivot. If that world is fundamentally incomprehensible to the fetus with its current tools, then how can we, living in our womb world, expect to truly grasp the nature of the Akhirat, the next stage?
It forces a kind of intellectual humility, doesn't it? It suggests that our tools, science, our senses, even our philosophy, might be just as inadequate for grasping eternal things.
If the fetus can't imagine red, why should we think we can fully picture timelessness or spiritual realities using equipment designed for this, well, this dark, confined space?
The Dunya is, by definition, limited compared to what's beyond the birth canal.
I get the humility part, but practically. The fetus is just trying to survive, right? It can't waste energy thinking about sunlight. It can't see.
True.
So if we run with this analogy, what are we supposed to do about our limitations? We need to survive here, too. Eat, work.
And that's where it gets really practical. It addresses this paradox of tools. We're essentially programmed, whether by nature or divinity, to build things for a future we haven't experienced.
Things that seem useless now.
Exactly. Like the eyes. Let's start there.
Okay.
The fetus develops these incredible optical instruments, lenses, retinas, the whole setup for processing light. But they're completely useless in the room, dark, fluid-filled. There's zero immediate benefit, no sensory reward.
Yet they have to be built then. That's the only time.
That's the critical window. If the fetus could somehow decide, hey, these eyes aren't doing anything for me right now, and stop their development,
it would be born blind, permanently.
The investment period is fixed, non-negotiable.
And it's not just vision. No, absolutely not.
The other senses, too.
Yeah, the other complex senses, they follow the same pattern. Smell, for instance, the term buyai is used. Complex taste, chashai, even refined touch, lambs.
They're all very limited in the womb.
Severely limited, or basically non-functional. The fetus isn't tasting complex spices or smelling different flowers or feeling, I don't know, the texture of bark.
But the equipment, the taste buds, the olfactory cells, they're all developing.
Maturing, getting ready, anticipating a world of sensation it cannot yet experience. They are investments in an unseen future.
And the spiritual parallel is that we're urged to develop our future senses now. Things like character, integrity, deep compassion, self-discipline. These are like the spiritual eyes and smell receptors.
Even if they seem inefficient or don't pay off immediately in, say, material terms.
Especially then, because developing them often requires sacrificing immediate comfort. Charity doesn't instantly boost your bank balance. Patience doesn't make the queue move faster.
It's the opposite of what the dark, confined environment naturally encourages, which is immediate gratification.
Precisely. And the tradition anticipates our skepticism. It calls it the fetus's folly, dismissing the growth of legs because, well, where am I going to run right now?
Dismissing it as that vorivore, that idle chatter.
Just nonsensical. Why build legs in a sack?
But before we get fully into the folly, you mentioned an exception. One tool that works in both worlds.
Ah, yes, hearing. The fetus hears the mother's heartbeat, that constant rhythmic sound.
Okay.
It provides connection, maybe comfort in the dark world, and obviously, hearing is crucial after birth, too.
So that suggests some things bridge the gap.
It seems so. Maybe certain kinds of focus or specific devotional acts. They offer some immediate connection, some grounding now in the Dunya, but they remain vital in the Akhirat.
Interesting. Some things ground us, others are pure future investments.
The key distinction.
Yeah.
But now, the flip side. The one thing that's absolutely essential in the womb, but becomes lethal outside, the umbilical cord.
Right, the ultimate paradoxical tool.
In the womb, it's life itself. The only source of sustenance, urtizak, it's called. Oxygen, nutrients, everything. Cut it too soon, and it's over.
But the moment of birth.
It has to be cut. Instantly. If it's not, the text's worn, it becomes a deadly entanglement. It wraps around the neck, strangles the newborn.
Outside, it's not life support, it's a fatal anchor.
Exactly. And this is where we see the fetus's folly playing out in our own lives, our own mistakes.
How so?
Well, imagine that fetus, if it were conscious, it would be terrified of losing that cord, right?
Naturally. It's everything.
So it might focus all its energy on strengthening it, making it thicker, more secure, believing that is the ultimate goal.
And that cord represents our worldly attachments.
Our temporary means of survival here in the Dunya, our jobs, money, possessions, status, the things we obsess over, measure ourselves by, are urtizak.
The immediate material nourishment.
Yes, and when someone suggests, hey, maybe also develop those legs, those eyes for this other reality.
The fetus says, what are you talking about? What use is running? I need to focus on this, my lifeline.
Dismissing the other developments as, again, that vorivore, that idle chatter.
And that mirrors our behavior. We cling to the material, the immediate payoff.
We label spiritual development, charity, honesty, contemplation as maybe nice, but ultimately unproductive distractions from the real world of securing our cord.
Mistaking the means for the end.
Totally. We mistake the temporary supply line for the purpose of the whole journey.
But hang on, let's push back a bit. If the Dunya, this world, is the umbilical cord, well, we need it, right? You can't just cut it off. We need its nourishment to build the eyes and legs.
Absolutely crucial point.
So how does the analogy handle that balance?
Yeah.
Isn't there a risk of neglecting the cord and, well, dying prematurely, spiritually or physically?
You've hit the critical nuance. The tradition is absolutely not saying abandon the world, cut the cord now. That would be fatal.
Okay.
The cord is necessary. It's a resource. It's the means. The failure isn't in using the cord.
It's in making the cord the goal.
Precisely. Making the Dunya the ultimate end in itself. Obsessing over it. Worshipping it.
So the aim is to use the cord's resources wisely.
To fuel the development of the things that last. The eyes, the legs, the spiritual senses, the moral character.
Instead of just polishing the cord itself, focusing on our bank account, our comfort, the appearance of success.
Yes. We get caught up in preserving and decorating the cord rather than using its energy for internal growth.
And the irony, the deep irony, is that the fetus doesn't even recognize the source of the nourishment flowing through the cord.
Not at all. It gets sustenance, but it has no clue about the mother. No awareness that it's inside this larger, conscious being who is providing everything.
Which brings the spiritual parallel right home.
The mother, in this analogy, is the divine sustainer. The texts draw that line clearly, referencing concepts like God being closer to you than the jugular vein.
Well, we don't see it.
We focus on the cord, the job, the money, the food, and miss the source providing it all. Just like the fetus misses the mother, our obsession with the dunya makes us blind to the ultimate reality of where our sustenance comes from.
That really raises the stakes. Every choice we make, how we spend our time, our energy, our money, is either investing in the temporary cord or building an eternal faculty.
It seems so. And if we consistently choose the cord over the faculty, well, the transition still happens. Birth is inevitable.
And with it comes regret, the day of regret, Yom al-Hasrat.
Yes. Let's talk about that transition. It's not depicted as easy, is it?
No, the sources describe birth as a struggle.
Intense.
The fetus resists leaving. It clings to the familiar darkness, the comfort. It's a massive upheaval.
Mirroring our own resistance to letting go of the dunya's comforts and securities.
But it happens anyway. And when those eyes finally open to the new world, the light, the space, all the old assumptions just shatter.
And for those who spent their whole time reinforcing the cord, the ones living the fetus's folly.
For them, the realization isn't just a surprise. It's instantly devastating. That's the core of Yom al-Hasrat.
Paint that picture for us. What does that regret look like?
Imagine seeing others moving freely, running in this vast new space. Using strong legs they developed through effort, through discipline back in the darkness. But the one who only focused on the cord, their legs are weak, withered, maybe unusable. They see movement, but they can't participate. They're stuck, paralyzed by their past choices.
That inability to join in, that's a kind of immediate existential pain. And it's compounded by sensory lack. Imagine people talking about colors, reds, blues, golds, or concepts like flying or the speed of light.
Things that require sight.
Exactly. But the one who neglected their eye development, that whole dimension is closed off. How do you explain red to someone who fundamentally lacks the capacity to see?
You can't. It's like speaking a different language.
The texts say exactly that. The lack of the right cells makes communication about that reality impossible. Your world is just touch and basic sound, while others are living in this full spectrum reality you could have accessed.
The regret is seeing this glorious potential that you were equipped for but failed to unlock.
Yes. And it extends even to subtle senses, like the spiritual sense of smell, the mashem.
What about that?
Well, the idea is there are these exquisite scents in the next reality. The term Raihaye Beheshti, sense of paradise, is used. Profound, subtle, beautiful.
Okay.
But if you spend your whole life, your womb time, immersed only in the coarse smells of material things, neglecting the development of those subtle spiritual sensors,
then you can't perceive them, even if they're all around you.
You lack the developed capacity. You might be in paradise, but unable to appreciate its fragrance because you didn't cultivate the necessary olfactory cells.
So the core principle here is incredibly stark.
Yeah.
Just because we can't perceive something now doesn't mean it isn't real.
Absolutely fundamental. The fetus can't grasp light, but light is overwhelmingly real the moment it's born. Our inability here in the Dunya to empirically verify the Akhirat doesn't negate its reality one bit.
Which forms the basis for the call to action. We have to act on principle, on faith in the unseen potential.
Knowing our current toolkit is limited, it's designed for this stage only.
And the tradition is specific about what to do now, in our fetal stage, what actions are prescribed.
We're told, strengthen your limbs, open your inner eye, the cheshmadel, exercise your spiritual sense of smell, that mashem.
The cheshmadel, the inner eye. And what does that entail? It sounds like insight, intuition.
It seems to be about cultivating moral clarity, seeing through the superficial distractions of the material world, discerning deeper truths. It's the spiritual equivalent of building bones and eye cells in the dark. It takes conscious effort, discipline, trust in a future payoff.
But you can just hear the modern pragmatic mind saying, inner eye, spiritual smell. What's the ROI on that? Show me the immediate benefit.
Exactly. It sounds like that vor again, that idle chatter. Why waste time on things that don't improve my current material standing?
And that is the trap. That's the fatal error the tradition warns against.
They just keep clutching the umbilical cord, prioritizing the temporary, quantifiable nourishment. It's why that saying is so powerful, attributed to Amir al-Mu'minin. The love of this world, Hubbi Dunya, is the root of all errors. It's the fundamental misdirection.
Okay, let's loop back to that balance issue, because it's critical. We need the dunya. We need the cord. How do we use it without becoming obsessed?
It's about intention and where the investment ultimately goes. Is the dunya a field you cultivate for harvest elsewhere? Meaning, do you use its resources, health, time, money, to sustain yourself so you can perform acts of service, build character, gain wisdom? If so, the dunya is serving its purpose. It's fueling the growth of eternal capacities.
But if the goal is just more dunya, more resources, more comfort, more security for its own sake,
then that's obsession. The cord itself has become the object of focus, maybe even worship, instead of just being the supply line for development.
So if our life boils down to just maximizing comfort, eating, sleeping, using our physical senses, just nourishing the cord, basically.
Right, yeah.
Then philosophically, how are we any better than animals? They do all that, and often much better than we do.
This comparison is crucial for understanding why we're told to prepare. If physical prowess was the measure, humanity wouldn't stack up well at all.
Let's look at the examples given. Sight.
The eagle. Apparently, it can spot tiny prey from hundreds of meters up. Some texts even suggest, maybe hyperbolically, it could read a newspaper from 30 meters if it knew how. Our vision is amazing, but compared to that.
Limited. And movement. Speed.
Cheetahs, leopards. Built for incredible speed and agility far beyond us. Physically, we're just not top-tier runners or hunters.
Smell.
Ants. Their ability to track food using chemical trails over potentially vast distances, maybe kilometers, it's astonishingly precise. Our sense of smell is, well, pretty basic in comparison.
So if we live only for those things, eating, mating, surviving, dying, the things animals master,
then we're living what the texts call a sheep life, gusfan sifat, just grazing.
And the judgment mentioned from the Quran is quite severe then.
It is. Ulaika kalam mbalham adhal. They are like cattle, nay, they are even more astray.
More astray. Why more?
Because the cattle are perfectly fulfilling their purpose, their instinct. The human who lives only like cattle is failing their unique potential. They had a higher calling and ignored it, hence more astray.
Even in death, the animal might be useful, wool, meat, whatever. The human who wasted their potential.
Leaves nothing of lasting value, perhaps, just a used-up vessel.
And we can't just claim superiority because we, praise God.
Apparently not solely based on that. The idea presented is that everything glorifies God Yusebi. Birds, trees, rocks. It's a universal, perhaps unconscious act. That doesn't make humanity unique.
So if it's not physical ability, not sensory sharpness, not even basic devotion, where is human dignity? It clearly can't be in the physical body itself.
No way. Amir al-Mu'minin is quoted again here very vividly. Our beginning. A drop of fluid, nitfa. Our end. A decaying corpse, jifa.
And the description of decay is quite graphic, emphasizing how quickly the body becomes repulsive.
Within hours, apparently. The stench drives away even loved ones. So pinning our ultimate value or pride on this temporary decaying shell is just philosophically unsound.
The real honor then must be something else, something transcendent.
It's located in that specific, unique divine command given to the angels. Ushudu li Adam, bow down to Adam.
And that wasn't because Adam was physically impressive.
Not at all. He lacked the eagle's sight, the cheetah's speed. The command came because humanity carries this unique potential to be the vice-regent of God, Khalifatullah. That's the blueprint, the spiritual DNA.
So the potential for perfect spiritual sight, speed, appreciation, it's built into us.
Yes, the genetics are there, but whether that potential gets realized depends entirely on the quality of nourishment we choose, the takshiya.
Are we drawing from clean water or from sewage?
That's the choice. That determines if we live up to the dignity of being human. The dunya offers both, pure lemons for growth and corrupting distractions. Choose the sewage.
And we slide from Khalifatullah potential down to Balham Adhal, more astray than cattle.
Which brings in the crucial role of consciousness, the struggle to live consciously, not just instinctively. This is sometimes called Shuriya Zistan.
The consciousness of being human. And this immediately creates tension with ideas of freedom, right?
Yes, because consciousness demands awareness of limits, of boundaries. And this bumps up against the modern idealization of absolute unbounded freedom.
The texts argue that absolute freedom is paradoxical.
Self-contradictory, yeah. Freedom only really makes sense, can only be experienced within limits. Hudud, boundaries.
Explain that. Why contradictory?
Well, think about it. If you were in totally uniform, infinite space, how would you even know if you were moving or free to move? You need a reference point, a wall, a contrast.
Like needing night to define day.
Exactly. No boundary, no definition of choice or freedom. Opposition to Zod is needed to even perceive reality.
And the need for boundaries, nahi divine prohibitions, is shown right at the beginning.
In the story of Adam and the forbidden tree, the moment they approached that one boundary,
what was the first consequence?
Their nakedness, being stripped of their covering. This is interpreted as the immediate result of choosing the purely instinctual animalistic path, ignoring the necessary limit. Here you must not. Crossing that boundary revealed their vulnerability, their lack of cultivated conscious covering. Dignity requires respecting limits.
Okay, so if limits are necessary, then conflict pushing against limits or overcoming obstacles must be the engine of growth.
It seems to be the primary driver of all progress and knowledge. Look at history. The conflict with hunger
led to agriculture.
Right? The conflict with disease
led to medicine.
The conflict with our own slowness and physical limitations
led to technology. Trains, planes, communication, ways to overcome distance and time.
All our ingenuity is basically a response to the inherent weaknesses and limitations of our current womb world.
That's a really powerful way to see technology. It's all just field development tools, in a way.
And it highlights the limitations. The texts contrast this with, say, beings in other dimensions like the jinn. For them, our tech for physical travel would be pointless. They don't have the same physical constraints.
Our technology proves how bound we are by the rules of this specific environment. We're inventing faster ways to crawl inside the room.
Instead of focusing on being born into the vastness, which brings us back to foresight. Let's imagine that conversation with the fetus again.
Okay, we lay it all out. Use the cord, yes, but focus its energy on building strong eyes, strong legs. If you don't, you'll suffer later. Everyone else will see, you'll be blind. They'll run, you'll be stuck.
And the fetus, stuck in its Zulmati Maz, its absolute darkness, gives a classic skeptical reply.
Who's ever come back from that other world to tell me it's real?
The ultimate materialist, agnostic shutdown. Why prepare based on hearsay? But the answer to the consequence of that skepticism is chilling.
It relates to the concept of hell, Jahannam.
Yes, but not in the way it's often caricatured. The texts emphasize it's not arbitrary punishment from an angry God.
It's self-inflicted.
The phrase used is stark. You carried your own hell.
Meaning hell isn't a place God sends you, but the state you arrive in. The state of being crippled by your choices.
Precisely. The suffering is the agonizing awareness of having eyes that can't see the light that's now present, legs that can't run on the ground that's now available. God isn't presented as vindictive. The term ogdi is used to negate that. The outcome is just the natural consequence of failing the developmental stage.
You arrive functionally disabled for the new reality because of your Dunya priorities.
And that hits home most clearly with that anecdote, the story about the cocoa.
Ah, yes. Tell us that one. It makes it very concrete.
It's about a pregnant woman, a neighbor apparently, who had an intense craving for cocoa, just couldn't get enough.
Okay.
Her doctor specifically warned her against it, based on medical knowledge, the principal saying it would harm the baby's development.
But the craving, that immediate desire, the hubby Dunya in miniature.
It was overwhelming. Her justification was pure feeling. I can't help it, I love it. She chose the immediate pleasure over the known principle of harm prevention.
And the result?
The baby was born with severe, lifelong disabilities, both mental and physical, and the mother's reaction afterwards. Instantaneous self-reproach. Yom al-Hasra in that very moment. She didn't blame God or fate. She said it was my fault. She understood the cause and effect. She prioritized the I love it feeling over the unprinciple I must obligation.
And that immediate, undeniable consequence for the child's next life is the lesson.
It's the perfect analogy for how our choices now, indulging immediate desires against principle, impact our state in the Akhirat, which connects directly to consuming forbidden wealth, mal-e-haram.
How so?
People consuming mal-e-haram think they're just enjoying money, luxury. They're tasting the cocoa right now, feeling the comfort of the cord.
But the spiritual reality is different.
The warning is that they're actually consuming fire. Just like the woman was consuming future harm while enjoying the cocoa's taste, the person enjoying haram thinks it's fine now. They dismiss warnings about later consequences.
What the texts say.
Killa salamun, thumma kill salamun. Nay, soon you will come to know. Again, soon you will come to know. The realization is inevitable, just delayed.
The only difference is the time scale. 9 months for the fetus, maybe 90 years for us.
But the duration of the dunya is finite. Birth or death comes. And our state then, what we built, what we neglected, what toxins we consumed, becomes our undeniable reality. This whole elegant structure stemming from the Prophet gives us a complete model for why we're here. preparation.
So we've explored this incredibly deep analogy of the two worlds, Dunya and Akhirat, using the womb and the outside world as a precise map. And the message seems crystal clear. The resources of this world, the umbilical cord, they're vital. We need them.
Absolutely. Can't neglect them.
But their only real purpose is to fuel the development of the tools for the next world. The eyes, the legs, the spiritual senses we might not even fully understand now.
It forces you, really forces you, to look hard at your priorities. Where's your energy actually going? Are you just maintaining the cord, making it thicker, more comfortable?
Or are you using that energy to build lasting capacity, developing those spiritual limbs, that inner sight?
It frames the whole human struggle as this choice. Live by instinct, like the animals, Gusfan Sifat, focused only on immediate sustenance.
Or strive for that conscious awareness, the shuur izistan, that actually fulfills the potential we were given as Khalifatullah, God's representatives.
It means recognizing that every time you choose principle over pleasure, honesty over gain, patience over reaction, even when it feels pointless, now you're making a crucial investment.
You're building the faculties needed for when reality truly opens up. You're preparing to see, to run, to appreciate the vastness.
So that when those eyes do open, finally, to that larger world, you're ready. Ready to see the colors, smell the fragrances, those Rayah Beheshti, and navigate the new landscape.
Instead of finding yourself crippled, blind, paralyzed by a lifetime of focusing only on the immediate, the material, driven by that hubby dunya. So here's something for you, the listener, to mull over, thinking about that potential day of regret. If the suffering in the born world really is just realizing what you failed to develop in the womb world, what faculty might you be neglecting today? What inner sense, sight, smell, movement will be most vital when your eyes open to that final, larger reality? And maybe the tougher question, what's your personal umbilical cord? What attachment serves only for temporary nourishment, but you're clinging to it so tightly, treating it like the ultimate goal that it might actually be hindering your real growth?